Good morning, everyone. My name is Ron Kelty. I've been creating some videos, whatever, showing some information that proves how corrupted our local government has become, and the fact that the county commissioners are basically allowing Amber Pruitt to do and get away with whatever she wants. I happened to have a meeting with Cassia County Clerk Joe Larson, and on our way back he informed me that Bob Kunau was going to be sitting on the meeting, which I was fine with that. In fact, I'm glad he was, because I learned some pretty interesting information as far as Mr. Kunau, who is the county commissioner, his knowledge about our misdemeanor probation department, and how he feels about our constitutionally protected rights. So during our meeting, it was mentioned. I don't believe I can't remember exactly who brought it up. I believe the secretary came in and or Mr. Joe Larson mentioned that there is now 3 levels of misdemeanor probation. Now, there's only ever been 2 that I'm aware of. So I looked right at Mr. Bob Kunau, asked him, I said, so what is the 3rd level of misdemeanor probation? He didn't have a clue. So Idaho Code 31-878 requires the county commissioners, the Board of County Commissioners, to provide for misdemeanor probation services. You'd think he'd know what the 3rd level of probation was. Okay, so to continue on, I mentioned to him that probationers were being threatened with jail for being unable to pay their monthly cost of supervision, and he admitted that he was aware of that. It didn't strike me as unusual, because I know his attitude towards misdemeanor probationers and his desire to collect as much money as he can. So I'm familiar with the Constitution enough to know that, and there was also a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that goes along with it. Basically, you can't throw a probationer in jail. You can't threaten them with jail for being unable to pay fees associated with being on probation unless you first prove that they had the ability to pay yet willfully refused. So I mentioned that to Mr. Kunau, and he said that'd be too much trouble. You know, it would just be too much trouble to determine, because they got so many people on probation. They put them on probation for everything they can think of, that it's easier for him, basically what he is saying, to just throw them in jail, to threaten them. And that way they're able to collect their money. And in fact, each case should be looked at separately, because that is their constitutionally protected right. That you can't just throw them in jail for their inability to pay. When a lot of probationers are put on probation for their inability to pay to begin with, what they've done is they've basically turned our misdemeanor probation department into a modern days debtor's prison. The judge, I used to listen to Judge Rick Bowler right there in court and on record. He would tell the probationer, if you can pay today, which it's usually around $350 that they don't have usually, if you can pay in full today, I'm going to put you on unsupervised. If you can't pay, I'm going to put you on supervised probation, which is 12 months usually, which they are required to drug test twice a month at their own expense. $60 a month cost of supervision, so they were too poor to begin with, or didn't have enough money to pay their fines and fees in full. They end up on probation. They get over here, Amber Pruitt. Back when Mike Duncan was running it, he didn't treat people that way. If you didn't have the money, he worked with you on your cost of supervision and your drug test. In fact, as your monthly cost of supervision included 1 drug test, but it doesn't anymore. So probationers are constantly being threatened with jail, and even thrown in jail. I just learned recently, here within the last year, that if you can't afford to pay for a drug test, they force you to sign a failure to provide, which means basically that you didn't show up at all. That's not the case, and to me that is basically fraudulent, forging court documents, that they would force the probationer to sign a failure to provide when in fact they simply couldn't pay. Completely unconstitutional. During our meeting I did bring that to Mr. Kunau's attention, once again the Cassia County Commissioner, that's what they were doing, that if they couldn't afford to pay, they were forced to sign these failure to provide, and he said, well, that hasn't been brought to my attention. The letter that I mentioned in one of my previous videos covered that. In fact, it was emailed to all 6 county commissioners, both sheriffs, both prosecutors, because they have the Joint Powers Board that has some decision making. That was sent to Mr. Kunau if you do a public records request on March 23rd, 2021. Now, over the years, I had asked 3 different occasions to speak at the Monday morning County Commissioners meeting. All 3 times I was rejected. I was told, what you need to do, Mr. Kelsey, is write a letter. So that's what I've been doing, is writing letters, and I got responses back until 2016. I guess they said they decided they'd had enough of me. That was the last response I got back. But Mr. Kunau, you're one of the ones that originally would not allow me to speak at your, so I quit asking. I started sending emails, letters basically, and if you had read that email that I sent from one of your constituents on March 23rd, 2021, you would have known that these probationers are being forced to sign these failure to provide when they simply could not pay. So you can't say, yeah, sure, it wasn't brought to your attention, but it was. You didn't do your job, basically. If I'm forced to write these letters, then you damn sure need to start reading them, because there's a lot of important information here that you're not even aware of. The fact that you're handing over $627,000 to our misdemeanor probation department and you don't even know what the 3rd level of misdemeanor probation is, you know, I don't get that. I have a really hard time with that, because it is your responsibility to know your constituents. They're being thrown in jail for things they shouldn't be thrown in jail for, as I mentioned earlier in one of my other videos, not being able to pee enough. Are you even aware of that? Was you aware that the policy and procedure manual was amended, increasing the required amount? And I'm pretty sure that the other 5 county commissioners that are, I think there's 4 new ones since all this information was originally sent or discussed with them, that I don't think they have any idea either. You could probably go to them today and ask them what the 3rd level, and they probably wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't know that the amount of urine was increased, which that amendment should have gone before the Board of County Commissioners before it was changed, with the consideration that, hey, some people might end up in jail for this, which they are. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. I got one more to make today concerning another issue. So I'll be back in a few minutes, and thank you for your time.